Hey guys, it's April with Crafting with April. Today I'm starting a series of videos I hope to get done in the next 2 to 3 weeks for you guys. This is going to be my 12 Days of Christmas ornament series. Today we're going to make, I have an old one here and I added some buttons to it. Well, it's not really old, but it's an old pattern is what I'm trying to say here. It's an old pattern, and I did one. Here is a little sample. It's a very simple cloth ornament that anybody can do. You could actually hand stitch this if you had to. It's basically a couple of circles cut to size, and I am going to supply the file for you guys. And you want two contrasting fabrics for the best look. The more contrast to me, the better. The other one that I did didn't have quite enough contrast, but like I said, it's been ages since I made one, and I just made that one real quick to kind of refresh myself and to perfect the file. But anyway, you want to get those, and you're going to want to grab your pins. I forgot to grab my pins before I started. You want to place those right sides together. So I've got my gold right side, and then I've got the red and green right side. And you want to place those together. And you want to take a pin and put in there, and then another one. You don't need to leave a large gap. This will turn in about an inch space, but if you want more space, certainly leave more space. And all you're going to do is come in about 1/4 inch, and you're going to stitch just in a perfect circle all the way around. If you get a little off, don't worry about it. It will be okay. But get it as close to a good circle all the way around, 1/4 inch, leaving an opening. So you're going to stop your stitching and back stitch here, and you're also going to back stitch here at the beginning, so that you don't tear this when you turn it. So let me go and stitch that, and I'll be right back with you guys. You can be gathering your things. This is fray check. If you've got a fabric that's fraying a lot, you might want to use that just until you can get it turned, but it's not an absolute necessary. You're going to need a sewing needle, just a basic for like regular sewing, and then you're going to need something to make your hanger with, and I'm going to be using this hemp cord. Cords, threads, embroidery thread will work well, and an embroidery needle for that thicker thread or hemp to go through. Seam ripper in case you mess up, and either some decorative buttons or bells, whatever you want to use for the center. So that being said, you guys gather everything up. I'm going to go and make this first stitch, and I'll be right back with you guys. Okay guys, I am back. I have stitched mine and clipped my threads off. I don't want those in my way. And I like to clip the curves. You do not have to do this step for this ornament, but I like the give that it will give me to when I go to turn and use the try to make my little petals on when I turn those corners, and you'll see what I mean. But you just go and you clip not all the way up to the edge, about, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch up close to them. But I'm just clipping around the curves. Because this is not a garment that's going to be worn, it doesn't really matter that much. But it's just a habit that I've always done on any curve, so I'm going to do that. Once you have that done, if you did that portion, you're going to reach in and just with your fingers pull this up and get the other side. Like I said, you don't need a big opening. If you didn't leave it quite that big, just get the other side of it and pull. And if you can use a chopstick or something like that to help you turn it as well if you can't get your fingers in there. And then I'm just pushing on my seam all the way around as I turn this, just to push those clip curves out to get the best curve that I can in my fabric. Looks like my stitching might have been a little straight instead of curved right there, but it'll work. It'll be okay. You want to get it just as round as you possibly can. As you can see, I got a little flat spot there, but I think it's going to be just fine. Maybe I didn't pull it out enough. There we go. And just work with it and get it as flat as you possibly can, and round. And then the opening, you're just going to tuck those in. You're going to leave them a little bit rounded, and you'll want to press this. That'll help you keep that round instead of flat right there. Let me go and press mine, and I'll be back with you guys. Okay guys, I have pressed my fabric and flattened it out pretty well, and I still have that little bit of an opening, and that's just fine. What we're going to do now is we're going to top stitch just along the edge, as close, maybe 1/8 of an inch around the edge, and that's going to close that hole up so you don't have to sew it by hand. That's one thing I hate, is finishing by hand. So let's go and top stitch and get this done. And if I failed to mention, most all of these projects for these ornaments will be anywhere from 15 to an hour long for each one. This particular one only takes about 30 minutes. So, and that's start to finish cutting. It's taking me a little bit longer because I am filming, but it won't take you that long. Once you do one of these, you'll see how quick and easy that they go. Let me go and top stitch and I'll be back. Okay guys, I have top stitched that, and I left my red thread in just so you guys could see. Mine isn't perfect. I have a really old machine. On my top stitching, you can't see it on this side. On this side you see the red stitching a little bit, and I am not perfect. I even missed right there. But it's not really going to show, so I wanted to leave that red thread in so that you guys could see. If your stitching's not perfect, don't worry about it. It will be okay. And some of my ornaments that we're going to do is going to be no-sew. So tomorrow, hopefully, if all of my supplies come, we will be doing a no-sew project. So now you want to determine, what do you want the main part of your ornament to look like. The main part being the petals, and I want the red. If I wanted the cream color, I would need to do it in this manner because that would need to go to the inside. So whatever you want your dominant color to be, put that to the inside. And then you're just going to fold this in half. And if you want to use the iron and press each little corner, you can. But I think it'll be okay. It's going to stay in there good enough for me to do this with. You're going to thread your needle with just some regular sewing thread, and we'll move on to the next step. So if you want to go and press that just right here on the corners, you don't have to press down the center, just right here on each corner, and then fold it over center to center and press each corner here. And I think I'll press mine just so it'll show up better for you guys, and I'll be back with you. Okay guys, I'm back, and I folded mine in half like a little taco, and I pressed each side, and then I lined those up like this, and then I pressed on each corner on that side. This step is very simple. You're just going to get your threaded needle, and right there where you pressed it, you're going to run your needle just in the top edge there, and you're going to do a little whip stitch on it, or over, under, whatever you guys want to call it. Can't get my needle, my fingers are sore. There we go. And then I like to do it twice. pull it through. And then I'm just going to leave my thread on there. You don't want to cut it at this point. Just lay your needle down, and those two sides, you're just going to bring them up. If you've ever had a crab ragoon or a wonton, then that's basically what you're doing. You're going to bring those two up to that point. And I'm just going to pull my fabric down, making it a point. So it's almost like a pie piece. But you've got all of your centers right here. And then your thread, make sure that it's at the top here so you're not caught up in the sides or hung up on your camera tripod like I am. And then you're just going to stitch through the top there. And it may be a little thick, but you're only going through, I'm just going down the middle here, if that makes sense, in between these two and out the other side. I think my needle is dull. I don't know why it would be. It's only probably 20 or 30 years old. I have a knot in my thread. There we go. Get that little knot out. And do the same thing as you did with the other. Just come back over to the other side and stitch it again. Doesn't need to be anything fancy, or you're not going to see it. That's why I'm not really worried about that knot I have in there. And then you just want to knot it off. Just run through the top there. Go in the middle. And snip that thread. And I'm going to lay that over to the side. And now you'll have something that looks like this. Like I said, little crab ragoon. And you're just going to kind of try to flatten that out. Get it as square at the bottom as you can. And then this comes the pretty part. You're just going to tuck and fold. Try to make them all the same size. If they're not, don't worry about it. You can go back and adjust. We're just going to turn each one of these corners out, creating a corner basically. Try to keep your petals the same size. Like I said, if it's not, you can adjust. I'm just kind of pushing it flat like that. Do the same on each 4 corners. That one doesn't want to lay down. He will though, eventually. Get that fabric tucked to the back. You can pull it down and flatten it. And then let's go ahead and get this guy. And I'm just pushing in with my finger and pulling back on the flap to create that corner to make it lay down. Now let's do this one. There we go. And just play with it, get it like you want it. When you have it looking like you want, there. You can press it flat, but before I press mine, if you've got your thread, either a gold thread, your hemp thread, just pick one of the corners, and then you're going to Well, let me go ahead. I want to press mine. I want to make sure mine lays flat so I get a good crisp corner. So let's all go and press and then come back. Okay guys, I'm back and now I have a little bit better corners there. You want to take your cord that you're going to use for your hanger or your embroidery thread or gold thread, whatever you're going to use, and go up into one of the corners. Okay? And don't, this one's going to be a little bit tough because I'm using hemp cord, but yours should come through easier. Don't pull both threads all the way through. You want to leave one. You want to hold on to it and pull one through so that it looks like this. Then you want to go back down, just kind of right beside that. Try to get that in there without bumping the camera. I might have to unfold that. There we go. And then pull it back through, still holding that other tail. Like I said, I'm using hemp cord, so it's a little tough to get through. But if you're using embroidery thread or something of that nature, it shouldn't be that tough for you. And you're just going to pull it through. And then I'm just going to pull that back down. And don't worry about if your corner's not, if it unfolds, because you can fold it back. Because we didn't stitch that. And then determine how long you want your hanger to be. I'm just going to do a couple of inches there. I'm just going to tie a knot in your material or your cord material. I might shorten mine. I'm going to find it. Pulled it too tight there. Don't pull yours all the way back through like I did. There you go. And then you're just going to pull that knot up into the back of it. And I think I will shorten mine slightly. It's a little longer than I wanted. There we go. That looks about right. And tie another knot in there and cut that excess off. There we go. Perfect. And I'm just trim that off and then redo my corner and pull my hanger up. Then you'll want to get your regular needle and thread if you're using something heavy like I did. You don't need a whole lot. These ornaments are really light. And then you'll want to decide what you want to put in the middle. And you can hot glue something in the middle. You can sew a button, whatever it is that you want to put in there. I'm having trouble knotting my thread. Bear with me. My fingers don't want to work right today. There we go. Okay, and I'm just going to take my needle there at the center and pull that through, because I don't want to go through the back side unless you're going to put a button or something on the back. This kind of looks like a little present from the back, so if you want to, then you can go all the way through. But I think I'm just going to do the front of this one for now. And I'm stringing a bell right there on the middle of this. Maybe I will go on the other side. Yeah, why not? I'm just going to go right through the middle and hold that bell into place. And with my thread on the other side, I'm bumping my camera. There we go. Thread another bell on the back side and then right down in that same spot. Go right back up and go around that bell again. And it's going to tighten up as you go through, and you only have to go through a couple of times. You don't need to go through a whole lot to get that to cover. And if I'm off camera, I do apologize. I can't see where I'm going all the way down there at the table. I have to bring it up to me. Let's see. And then back through maybe one more time. And because my thread is red, I'm going to end up on this side so that it hides it. And I'm just going to catch the edge of some of that red fabric. Just caught the edge of it. I'm going to pull my needle up and go up under there and knot it off. And then just trim that thread. And we're done. Little 30-minute or less ornament. Perfect for hanging any tree, for homemade gifts. And that's going to complete ornament number 1 of the series. And I'll be back with you tomorrow with the no-sew project, and we'll make ornament number 2. You guys have a wonderful day. Make something beautiful. Post pictures of your ornaments that you made. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Give us a thumbs up. Come over to the Facebook page, Cricut Maker Projects and Cricut Crafting. This ornament can be made with an Explorer. It can be made without your machine. It can be made with the maker. So don't feel intimidated if you don't have a maker. You can make this as a circle. You can use bonded fabric or a light fused fabric. Any of those will work. You can just lay a pot lid over it and cut a circle around. Works perfect as well. You guys have a wonderful day, and thanks for joining me.